And today, we'd like to share 3 lessons that we've learned from our own 2-person tea group, if you will.
While we were at the GSB, there was no one more annoying than Rishi when we would go on a run. So thank you, Stanford. 20 years and 2 daughters later, forget about being the best business school in the world, you're an even better matchmaking service. Stanford was transformational for us. I came here from India via Los Angeles, and Rishi from the UK. It opened our eyes to a whole new way of thinking, and it's informed everything we've done since. It also changed the course of our lives, because this is literally where we met, in the Schwab courtyard, to be precise. Now, who needs admissions algorithms when, as our then admissions director, Derek Bolton, who's here with us today, has since told us he could see we were meant to be together before we had even met, just from reading our admissions essays alone. So thank you, Stanford. 20 years and 2 daughters later, forget about being the best business school in the world, you're an even better matchmaking service.
Now, our different approaches have meant that we could push each other's thinking to become something better, sharper, deeper. We are each other's force multipliers. And today, we'd like to share 3 lessons that we've learned from our own 2-person tea group, if you will, which we would have found helpful sitting where you are today. Now, the first lesson is what I've learned from Akshata about the false comfort of data alone. Now, I'm a numbers guy, which was in fact a very helpful way of bonding with my father-in-law, Narayana Murthy. Now, he's a pioneer of the Indian software industry, founded the company Infosys, and he lives by the saying, "In God we trust, everyone else must bring data to the table." And I couldn't agree more. I used to find comfort in the idea that data could always provide a certain answer, black and white, was reassuring to me. But my wife pushed me to think differently. While I'm the quant in our relationship, Akshata is definitely the poet. From our early days together, I try and join her for runs around the loop as an excuse to spend more time with her. And we'd chat as we ran, or more accurately, she would try to run, I would try to chat. But as our relationship deepened, she'd encourage me to understand that without giving up my love of analysis, I also had to tune in and trust my intuition, born of experience and values, however uncomfortable it made me feel. On reflection, I was seriously unfit and had all the wrong kit, so the running was pretty uncomfortable too. But Akshata helped me see that data can't look around corners. It can't make the decision for you. And through her confidence, I grew to trust my own instinct more too. And the reality is, as a leader, the only decisions that reach your desk are the difficult 50-50 ones. Because if a decision could be answered with data or analysis alone, someone else would have made it already. So, here's the thing. As you progress in your own careers, learn to listen to your intuition with as much respect and rigor as you do the analysis. Because if you want to lead, it's not a question of data or intuition. You've got to get comfortable with both.
The second lesson is what I've learned from Rishi, and it's about the relationship between big idealistic dreams and small practical steps. I grew up in a country where the gulf between rich and poor was vast. I also grew up in a family where my parents inspired me to bring about widespread change, and I desperately wanted to be in their footsteps. In my Stanford essay, I spoke passionately about education, impact, and service. When I started here, my ideas had crystallized into what I call a form of die-hard idealism, and a quality which I perhaps naively saw then, and I admit now, as somehow morally superior to every other thing. Coming to Stanford, of course, I hope to learn from other idealists with big dreams like mine. What I didn't expect to find, however, was a profound connection with someone whose first question was always how. While we were at the GSB, there was no one more annoying than Rishi when we would go on a run. He would beg to come, and then he would want to talk to me the whole way around the loop. He would wearing these seriously uncool pair of sneakers and three-quarter length cargo shorts. I used to call them weeder shorts, which had pockets everywhere. But there was no one more intriguing than Rishi when he was talking to me about how to affect social change at scale. I genuinely hadn't met anyone my age who spoke like that. Style might not have been his thing, but at least there was some substance. Idealism is inspiring, but he helped me see that if it's untethered from reality, there is no traction. You float without impact. I learned from him that the path to achieving something transformational is rooted in the gravity of tangible steps, in the real world of the everyday. These steps are small, they're detailed, they're unglamorous, but they're also crucial for a vision to bear fruit.
And the third lesson is what we've learned together about the importance of worrying far less about the outcome. It's a concept known in Sanskrit as dharma, the idea that we should gain our fulfillment from simply doing our personal duty rather than from any rewards that may come with our efforts. In the summer of 2022, I failed in my bid to become leader of the Conservative Party and Prime Minister. After fighting incredibly hard for what I believed was right, it was a very difficult blow. But the flip side of that disappointment was that I got to spend more time with my family after a grueling few years. It felt good focusing on being a member of Parliament, a husband, a dad. Our girls were thrilled that they got to go to TGI Fridays more often. The dog was thrilled to go on many more walks. And even Akshata was thrilled, I think, to have her running partner back. This time with considerably better gear, I might add. But 6 weeks later, my predecessor resigned. There had been a run on the pound, inflation was at a 40-year high, and the opposition party had a 36-point poll lead, which would require a monumental turnaround even at the best of times. Now, all politicians, if they're being truly honest with you, are a mixture of ambition and duty. A purely ambitious politician would at this point have sat out the impossible situation. That weekend, Akshata and I were in different places and we could only speak in snatched moments on the phone. But she reminded me that my dharma was clear. It was my duty to do the job because I felt that I could help my country at a very difficult situation. And 2 days later, I became Prime Minister. It was a battlefield promotion at a time of crisis, and one that I'll always be proud of.
So here's the lesson. Dharma isn't just relevant in public service. It means that you'll have the resilience and clarity you need to overcome whatever's thrown at you without losing your way or being submerged by ego. It's not only a fulfilling way to live your life, but it will enable you to do much more than you ever thought possible.
A final thought. We were the first Stanford graduates to live in number 10 Downing Street, but both Akshata and I have every hope that we are not the last to live behind an important door at an important time, because the world needs global leaders like the ones being honed right here.
We know you're all going to make Stanford proud, and we'll be applauding you all the way.
So, get out there, change lives, change organizations, change the world.